So another Monday, and surprise, surprise, wouldn't you know it, we're back here talking about more college football recruiting, and personally, I'd have it no other way. However, today, we're taking a trip to the Big Ten. As y'all know, I've been wanting to talk about more Big Ten content, and today, I think it's a perfect opportunity as the Ohio State Buckeyes get a tremendous win over the likes of their arch rivals, the Michigan Wolverines, for five-star defensive lineman Justin Scott, one of the top prospects in the nation, something we have got to break down. But before we do, as always, y'all know the drill. I have got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments. Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Do you think Ohio State is about to surge in recruiting? Let me know what you're thinking. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoy the content, be sure to like and comment down below as those interactions seem small. They are massive to content creators such as myself, and we are so close to our 20,000 subscriber goal. I'd love to have you a part of this unbelievable community. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And as I posed the question in the intro, do you believe Ohio State is about to surge? I understand that might sound like a weird question to ask about a team that's currently ranked as the number 2 recruiting class in the nation. However, the reason why I wanted to bring it to your attention is because they're the number 2 recruiting class in the nation with 17 commits, meaning they still have room in this class. And we know July typically provides fireworks in terms of college football recruiting. But before we fully turn our attention to what this means for Ohio State's recruiting class, let's talk about this newest addition. 5-star defensive lineman Justin Scott, a massive recruit, both in terms of what he brings to the table and in terms of physical stature, as he stands 6'4", 310 pounds, and comes in as a top 15 player in the nation regardless of position. Specifically, number 14 player in the nation, the number 3 defensive lineman, and the number 1 player in the state of Illinois. And when we talk about defensive line recruiting in the class of 2024, one thing we need to realize, it is really deep. First and foremost, this is a really deep recruiting class in its entirety. When you really start diving into it and start studying it, there's a lot of exciting prospects. But on the defensive line, whether we're talking edge, whether we're talking interior, there are so many exciting prospects. And personally, I think Ohio State easily got one of the best, because this is the type of player that can come in and be disruptive immediately. It's not every day you see someone who stands 6'4", over 300 pounds, be able to move with the efficiency that Justin Scott moves with. And on top of that, one of the things that instantly stood out to me with Justin Scott was his motor. He does not know when to quit, and I love that whenever we're talking about our guys that play along the trenches. You want your big nasties to be just that, nasty. As soon as the whistle blows, their motor is going, and they don't stop until they hear the whistle. That's exactly what you get with Justin Scott. You can find highlights of him chasing plays down, running down the line of scrimmage to get a running back, or just straight up beating the guy in front of him and being a disruptive force. This is the exact type of player you look for with your defensive line, and I know the Ohio State fan base have got to be over the moon as they continue to add in talent to their recruiting class. And let's talk about this recruiting class real fast. They currently have 4 5-stars committed, a quarterback, a defensive lineman, and 2 wide receivers. And I'm not surprised at all to see Brian Hartline continue to stack wins in the wide receiver department. It makes complete sense. We look at the production Ohio State wide receivers have had. We look at the history he brings to the table. Whenever we talk about wide receiver recruiting, it's impossible to argue with. But since we're talking about Justin Scott, do you know who else it's really hard to argue with? Larry Johnson. And for those of you that are Ohio State fans or maybe Big Ten fans, or if you're just a big-time college football fan who's been around my channel, you've probably heard me refer to Larry Johnson as the godfather of defensive line recruiting. And I call him that for good reason. Because when we get into how efficient Larry Johnson is on the recruiting trail, it gets to be a little bit nutty. And I wanted to break this down because the win for Justin Scott, that's unbelievable. You get a prospect that can come in day one and contribute, and more than that, you get to keep him away from your arch rival. And that's another thing I love whenever we're talking college football. Bitter rivals going at it. Whether we're talking about whether game week is here or if they're going after the same prospects, sign me up. It moves the needle, and I'm big on things that move the needle. But let's get back to Larry Johnson, because with this win, he now has recruited 8 guys that rank as 5 stars per the 24/7 Sports Composite. 4 of those guys rank as top 10 players in their respective class. Outside of that, he has 23 guys he's recruited that rank as top 100 prospects in their respective recruiting class, 34 guys that rank as top 150 players in their respective class. I can keep going, but I think you get the point here. Larry Johnson is as good as they come on defensive line recruiting, and I'm not surprised at all to see him walk into a battle and win it, because it just seems to be what he does. This is a phenomenal defensive line coach and a tremendous defensive line recruiter. So for Ohio State, you love this win, but it doesn't seem like the fireworks are about to stop. There's another big-time battle happening tonight that could go in Ohio State's favor in Marquise Lightfoot, and if that's the case, you know Buckeyes fans everywhere are going to be extremely excited. But I can't wait to hear from all of you. This is a tremendous win. We know Ohio State and Ryan Day are going to have offensive firepower. You love that they have the 5-star quarterback in their class. But getting this defense back to that Ohio State standard is something I'm really excited to see. And they have pieces. And if they continue stacking these pieces, it's going to be interesting to see. Hop down to the comments. Let me know what you're thinking about this win. That's it. See ya.